hope that further investigations, all these aspects are taken care and there are no loose ends. Justice should be given to the departed souls, because their souls will not rest in peace if there is no justice given.
The President of the Federation of Indian Pilots, Captain Charanvir Singh Randhawa, has strongly defended the captain of the crashed Air India Flight AI171, dismissing speculation of pilot error or intentional wrongdoing. Speaking in Mumbai, Randhawa said he knew the captain personally and was 100% certain that he was not to blame. He described the late 56-year-old Captain Sabharwal as a disciplined professional with a balanced character and a responsible lifestyle.
The question which has to be answered, that why the gear was not taken up. The second point is the health monitoring of the engines. Were the engines running? How were they running? Were they producing full power? What was the temperature? What was the pressure? Nothing has been revealed on the engines after the aircraft has got airborne. So there is a micro switch. This micro switch actually gives a command moving the aircraft from the ground mode to air mode. Now what are these modes? Now ground mode ensures that on ground you cannot take the landing gear up. You cannot deploy the ram air turbine which has been deployed in this case. I will take you back on one more important incident which happened on 17th of January 2019 on a Boeing 787 aircraft of All Nippon Airlines flight from Haneda, Tokyo to Osaka.
Two major pilot bodies, the Indian Commercial Pilots Association and the Airline Pilots Association of India, also issued a joint statement rejecting the preliminary suggestion that the crash was caused by human error.
When the pilot selected the reversers, it did not allow it to happen because it thought it will be over, the thrust would be in excess, so it cut off both the engines. Pilots did not move the fuel control switch at all, and the engines got cut off. Thank God that aircraft was on the ground when this thing happened. Similarly, I find that the same case has happened in case of Air India 171, where there is a power interruption this time, and when there is a power interruption, it has taken that into account that the aircraft has not gone from ground mode to air mode.
Initial findings indicated that both engine fuel switches transitioned from run to cut-off shortly before the crash. Audio recordings revealed one pilot expressing surprise at the switch status and another denying having moved them. India's aviation authorities have since directed airlines to examine fuel switches across all Boeing aircraft, citing potential safety concerns. Randhawa highlighted previous incidents involving Boeing systems failing to properly switch between ground and air modes. He referred to a 2019 incident in Tokyo involving an All Nippon Airways 787, where both engines shut down automatically despite the pilots activating thrust reversers. "Thank God that aircraft was on the ground," he said.
The FAA came out with this advisory circular that on 737s, 757, 747, 767, 777 and MD-11. On all these aircraft, the operators should check for the locking mechanism of these fuel control switches. Apparently, I do not know whether Air India did these checks. Today, the pilots are demoralized by some people making some loose statements about pilots, that's a pilot error or suicide. Let me tell you, I know Captain Sabharwal personally. Being the president of the Federation of Indian Pilots, he was our member. but I know him from Air India since 1994. I have also done partial training on the Airbus Air 310 aircraft. He was an absolutely very, very balanced person, very soft-spoken, never get into any argument or fights, never used to smoke, never used to drink, cared about the parents. All his life he looked after his parents till the time he was after his father retired. So I will totally and 100% rule out any such indication.
The Federation of Indian Pilots has questioned the integrity of the aircraft's electrical and software systems, suggesting the fuel switch transition might not have involved direct pilot input. Randhawa pointed out that cockpit voice recordings failed to clarify who was giving instructions, and the preliminary report did not confirm whether the captain or co-pilot made any critical decisions. He urged a more thorough analysis of the cockpit voice recorder and flight data recorder to clarify this. He added that flight data revealed the aircraft reached 180 knots at 8:08, and 10 seconds later, the fuel control switches transitioned. The landing gear and flaps remained deployed in the takeoff position, suggesting a possible malfunction. Randhawa also cited a 2018 Boeing advisory warning of similar malfunctions in 737 models, which, he claimed, should have been treated as a mandatory directive for all aircraft types. He added that such advisories, if left unaddressed, could pose serious safety risks. Former AAIB Director, Group Captain Aurobindo Handa, warned against drawing early conclusions. Speaking on a private news channel, he said the preliminary report only covered a brief 30-second window and was not conclusive. He stated that in most air crash investigations, initial and final findings differ, and called for a deeper, more methodical technical evaluation. Union Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu urged the public and media to avoid speculation until the full report is available. He reiterated the government's commitment to a transparent and independent investigation. The Air India Flight AI171, operating a Boeing 787, 8 Dreamliner, crashed shortly after takeoff from Ahmedabad, Gujarat on the 12th of June, killing 260 people. The victims include 229 passengers, 12 crew members, and 19 people on the ground in the densely populated area the aircraft struck. According to the airline, those on board included 169 Indian nationals, 53 British citizens, 1 Canadian, and 7 Portuguese.
We hope that further investigations, all these aspects are taken care and there are no loose ends. Justice should be given to the departed souls, because their souls will not rest in peace if there is no justice.
This incident marks the first fatal crash involving the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Boeing is already under scrutiny for safety concerns linked to its 737 MAX model, which has been involved in fatal accidents in Ethiopia and Indonesia, killing a combined 346 people. Despite assurances from the US Federal Aviation Administration that the fuel lock switches are safe, Indian pilot groups and investigators continue to push for deeper scrutiny into potential system design flaws.